going to introduce to you to a new anime that you may have or may not have heard before, and it is called Heavenly Delusion. Now, before we jump in, it would mean a lot if you liked, subscribed, and hit that notification bell so you know that when we come out with new videos. Let's keep it going. Heavenly Delusion is an amazing anime. It's short. It's about... Let me double check.
A few moments later.
It has one season with 13 episodes, and when I tell you each episode ends with some kind of cliffhanger or mystery, each episode ends with a cliffhanger or mystery. This is probably one of the best anime I've seen in the short time that it has, and we're going to talk about why. I will say, I'm going to give a couple of disclaimers. There are a couple times when the anime can be weird sometimes. I think it's done tastefully, and I think it's done to move the narrative forward. I know there's sometimes some anime or manga that they have these weird instances just because, but this one, I believe, truly moves the narrative forward. The first one is an adolescent does get pregnant. Now, in the show, although it was consensual, they're not. I don't believe they're over the age of 18. So, just letting you know that. 2, there is an SA moment. You don't see anything. Thankfully, it's heavily applied that it happens. And those are the only instances that I remember. Again, I apologize if you're bamboozled by something else. Aside from those instances, the show's so good. The characters are great. And it's very mystery heavy. And unfortunately, the ending does land on a cliffhanger that's like, where's the other season? So the show is really good, and here's why. I'm going to give you a quick summary. I'm going to give you a little bit of the art style, the animation, if you will, and then I'm going to give you kind of just like the writing, right? Here's a summary. A boy hires a bodyguard to take him to a place called Heaven. He doesn't know where it's at. She doesn't know where it's at. All you know is that there's a place called Heaven, and he needs to get there, right? And they don't really have a lot of clues to go on, so they're kind of just traveling. They're just going for it. Parallel to that story is there's a facility that houses a group of students or children, and they start to develop or show powers. I'm trying to walk carefully here because I don't want to give too much, but in this facility, weird things start happening, and you're starting to wonder if what's going on is in the same timeline or not. So I'll just leave it at that. Now, I will say each episode does, for the most part, end on some crazy, mind-boggling, whoa. And I say that because I have this toxic trait, right? Of whenever I'm traveling somewhere, I like to abandon any anime that I'm currently watching, and I'm like, what's a different anime I can watch? As if I don't have a backlog already. And so this happened this year when I went to Puerto Rico to visit my family. And I'm like, what's some random anime I can watch? I binged watched the mess out of that show. I was only there for 2 nights. I was only there in Puerto Rico for 2 nights. And I finished the entire thing. It was literally at 3 a.m. I'm like this. It was so good. Animation-wise, it's pretty awesome. It's not going to be your shonen where, you have you can barely see the action because it's so high speed and so crazy and so powerful. But the character emotions are so good. You can feel their emotions, you can see their emotions, and it's animated beautifully. And when there are fight scenes, it's done really well. You can see the whole thing, and it feels weighty. It feels really good. Lastly, in terms of the writing, I think the writing is done so well. This is going to be a spoiler moment. So if you don't want to hear this particular spoiler, move on. I'm only mentioning this spoiler because it happens maybe episode 2 or 3, very early on, and it sets up the rest of the anime for a particular sub-story that I think it was so good. It was so good. So I'm about to share the spoiler. The bodyguard that he hired, although she looks female, is actually apparently a male. What happened was, this story is so crazy. What happened was, it flashbacks, and this girl had a brother. Brother tragically died, and they put his brain. You kind of assume this. You don't see what happens, but there's like bandages around her head. But they put the brain of the boy in her body, and so he's in her body and identifies himself as the brother still, although he's in his sister's body. It's weird. The science is weird, but it's amazing because the bodyguard actually starts catching feelings for her, and he's like, I like girls, but you told me you're a guy. And so it's really cool because he's just wrestling with this idea of like, what you know. So it's complicated, but it's beautifully complicated, and I love it. I just wanted to share that. This was off the dome. I didn't write a script for this because I just woke up. But so please do yourself a favor, watch this show. It is incredible. You will not regret it. So if you're looking for your next manga or figurine, please check out Animotion.club, where we will have your next manga, and it'll be supporting a small business here in Pennsylvania. So anyways, love you guys. You're fantastic. Stay beautiful. And remember, Johnny.